250 newton force. I think this was the other side of the thing I gave you for the homocron, wasn't it? I think the homocron had the one here, and it had this with it, and I said, oh, and I said, just do this one, right? That problem only has sort of one, so I said, oh, I'll just throw the other one on there and see if they get it, right? That angle is 55 degrees, isn't it? What is that angle? See, angle for, that's your answer. It's one of them done. I know I got at least one person in here, if not two, or maybe even three, that came up with they showed that angle, and then when they calculated theta y, they had a different answer for theta y. So that should have been, right? Something's wrong here. I actually usually circled it and I pointed over to it. Look at that, right? So your y force looks like this, doesn't it? And this is what? It's forming, no, it doesn't look so good, right? Let me come down a little bit further. Let me drop this down a little bit more. I'll drop that here. That looks better. That is the horizontal projection, right? Of the force. And that is Fy. We can find Fy immediately, can't we? This is our hypotenuse, this 450 newtons, right? And there's an angle. It's right angle straight. That is a right angle. Fy is equal to F cosine theta y. 450 newtons cosine of 55 degrees is equal to Fy, which is equal to 258 newtons. Positive, right? It's acting up. Fh is equal to F sine of theta y. 450 newtons, sine of 55 degrees. And that's 368.6. That's not an answer. But this is a simpler way of solving it than when I saw some people doing sine and cosine, mixing them together like we showed in the presentation, which you can do. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, this is a much easier way of doing it. It gives you the hypotenuse for the other triangle, right? That's what FH is. FH is right here. There's FH. This is what?
Negative.
Yes, and this is positive. That's FZ, and this is FX, right? I'm going to move this. I'll put this up here. FX, and this is FH. That's the hypotenuse, so this is a right angle triangle. And that angle there is going to be what? 90 minus 40, right? It's 50 degrees. I've got my triangles. This is 368.6. It's forming a parallelogram, right? This is what contained within the XC plane. Now we can find FC and FX using that, sine and cosine, right? Respectively. So, or let's say FX is going to be equal to 368.6 newtons times the cosine of that angle, which is 50, right? Cosine of 50 degrees, and Fx is negative. That was the key, or else you got the angle wrong later, right? But everybody should have saw theta x. That's the only one that was greater than 90, right? Look at this when you do this. If you had just done this, I wrote theta x here, you should say that is way bigger than 90, right? Theta z, here's your xz axis. It goes from here to here. That's not greater than 90. And theta y, we already know it's 55. So it should have told you this thing is way bigger than 90. So you had to get a negative here. Right? And so I know you get caught up in the test. Try to open up your eyes to these things, right? Look at it graphically. Right? Once you see that, you know that answer has to be a negative answer. It has to be. It should have been self-evident, right? So anyway, this answer winds up being negative 237 newtons, right? And then FZ is just a sine. 368.6 newtons. That's coming out of the void, right? FC is in the, here it is, parallel to the plane, coming out. So it's positive. Sine of phi, which is 50 degrees, right? And you're gonna get a positive answer of 282 newtons. Remember, we're still using the 0.2% rule for my answers. Okay? So that's fx, fy, and fz. Theta x, fx over f, right? Fx is negative 237 newtons over, what is the scale of magnitude? 450 newtons, right? It's acting along that line. I think the inverse cosine function of this, I should get 121.8, 4 significant digits. Greater than 90, right? We know that theta y is 55, but we should verify because it tells us if we did fy right? Which I know, at least if one person had done that, they would have picked that up. Because it didn't mathematically work out. Fy was 258 newtons over 450 newtons. That drops out. The inverse cosine function is indeed 55 degrees. And I said, you know what? My y has got to be right, right? Fy is right. Because I just confirmed it. And then theta z, right? 282, positive, so it's going to be less than 90. Drops out, and 51.1 degrees. So that's that. Not too bad, right? Any questions? No? Does anybody want to take a picture of it?